Send a woman to the Congress. She might knock some sense into them.
This is not a question of men and women, Abigail. It is a matter of politics.
Politics. Politics. And do women not live politics, John Adams? When I go to the cupboard and I find no coffee, no sugar, no pins, no meat, am I not living politics? This war touches people that your Congress treats with the same contempt King George reserves for the people of Boston. I mean women, yes, and slaves too, for that matter. Though I'm sure you wish I would not mention that subject, as it might upset your Southern friends.
You're harsh, madam.
I am cold.
Let's focus on this idea of Republican motherhood. Basically, you could look at it as a straw man. You could look at it as an olive branch, right? An olive branch being extended to women. Hey, you don't get equality. You don't get the right to vote. But this is important too. You can fill this role, and it's essential, right? Giving them a place at the table, so to speak. Not really, but so to speak. Not really, because it still relegates them to the home, separate spheres of society, the public sphere, government, business being the sphere of men traditionally, and the home being the sphere of women, right? A good example is the Abigail Adams letter, the Remember the Ladies letter that we have looked at in chapter 6, in which she tells her husband that it would be a good idea for men to give up the harsh title of master for the more endearing one of friend. This idea that a marriage should be about affection, about love, and about a more equal relationship rather than like a business where the man is the CEO, right? And Foner would confirm this idea. Foner says in this section on Republican motherhood, the structure of family life itself was altered by the Revolution. In colonial America, those living within the household often included servants, apprentices, and slaves, right? So once indentured servitude is gone and people move to free labor, so there are still apprentices too, but that's going to start dwindling in the 1800s. In the South, you still have slaves, but in the North, you go to a situation where the nuclear family, as we see it, mother, father, children stuff. And also, an important thing to remember, so the Abigail Adams letter should be seen in this context. It should be seen in the context of the modernization of the American family more than a feminist document. It's obviously a feminist document in that she's asking for better treatment as a woman, right? A woman in a marriage should be treated better than they currently are in 1776. And therefore, she is advocating for an advancement for women, which by definition is feminism, right? The modernization of the American family, not the modernization of gender roles or feminism. From the perspective of husband and wife, but also from the perspective of children, the idea of adolescence, the idea of parents nurturing their children, the idea of especially a father nurturing their children, providing affection, seeing childhood as a sort of experience where they develop and grow, is a relatively new thing at this point. A lot of it deals with life expectancy and child mortality rates, which were significantly higher. In the pre-modern era, you'd have 7, 8 kids, and maybe 3 of them would make it to the age of 15, the age of 20, right? So you're not necessarily looking, if this sounds maybe a little harsh, but you're not looking at these children as something, as young people that you want to attach to and feel love for, because they could get, smallpox or the measles or plague, and they could be, dead in a couple of years. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is something that obviously happens in the North, and it does happen in the South too, but the fact that there's still slavery makes it different for not only white families that own slaves, but the slaves themselves obviously have no place in this concept, right? They are property in law. They're not mothers, they're not fathers. So that's, this is something that a lot of these elements of the revolution and the rhetoric and how it applies to certain people, it's important to remember that in 1860, there are 4 million slaves that have missed out on all of these different areas of democracy and Republican government, right, in so many ways. So